Do not adjust your YouTubes. Wednesday night. That's right, Slam Pigs podcast number 82. We're back. Michael, unfortunately, due to work scheduling in real life, cannot be here this week. As advertised, though, I put it out earlier today. Supposed to have cruise control in the house. Colin and Logan filling in. Unfortunately, that has not happened either. They may pop in the call. We got a little time conflict and all that good stuff. But thankfully, another member of the great PWR podcast, which you should check out, filled in as always. He's been on the show before. James Hebert, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming on and helping a brother out. How have you been? And where can everyone check you out?
All right, I'm doing good, man. You guys can find me out here on youtube.com/jhebertside95. You can also check me out on Twitter at jhebertside95. I do a lot of custom Titan on, and I'm more into the theme work genre. I do a lot of custom themes, so make sure you check all that out. I just posted up a couple of themes, one wrestling edit of Linkin Park's Hit the Floor, another one of a mashup edit between Paramore and Sea of Treachery of Misery Business. So check out both those videos out, give a like. Also check out the Weymouth Youth Wrestling channel. That's Weymouth Space Youth Wrestling. You can also check out my other podcast that I do with Owen the Birdman Finch at Wrestling Fortune 44 on YouTube, called The Aftershock Corner, where we talk about Raw, SmackDown, sometimes NXT, and other news in the world of professional wrestling.
Very good, and I always love it when you plug your stuff. Finally, there's somebody with more shit to whore out than me. As always, I'm going to whore myself out. You check me out on Twitter at TheVickyTMD. Check out the reset button, myself and Tannen. If you're into retro gaming, cruise control, and check me out on K-Faith Today podcast at First Thing Morning on YouTube with Broski and the gang. But man, oh man, James, I had a totally different format planned for the show this week going in. And don't adjust your sets, by the way. No, this isn't a Steven Seagal tribute show. They have totally said Under Siege. If you made a drinking game out of how many times they've said it this week, you'd be dead. And I cannot hear the term Under Siege without thinking of the Seagal movies, hence the parody. But Wrestlepie got baked in the oven today. My God, let's get right into it. Like I said, plans changed. Had a totally different opening banter here playing with Colin. Got into it a little bit today, a little in-house, but everything's good. Have no fear. James, Jesus Christ, talk about blindsided.
Yeah, no one expected this. We have a Facebook group chat for the PWR podcast. Travis was part of it, and so was Colin. And like, literally, the news just drops into my DMs. I'm like, oh shit! And like, initially, I didn't know what the fuck it was, so I thought it was like, well, in fairness, and this is me not liking it again. I'm like, maybe there was like, this is probably one of those cases where, one guy's saying one, or the girl's saying one thing, the guy's saying another. You can't tell which one's telling the truth in the scenario. Once I actually read the article, I'm like, dude, are you fucking me?
Yeah, multiple.
This dude was that
girl. And I did the same thing. I read it from the group chat initially, right? I forget. Shout out to whoever initially just said, did you see that tweet from Adam? And I thought he was just being his usual cocky prick self, right? I didn't think this. So I get on there and we'll get into it here in a second, but I like I said to you earlier, I've been so fucking waiting for this guy to mess up because he's such a cocky prick. And I jumped the gun a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I put out a tweet. It wasn't like I was wrong on anything. I just didn't know all my facts, but it was just like a tidal wave. It was like a domino effect. Like the bad news for this man today just was nonstop. And it's, first of all, let's cut the bullshit, the elephant in the room, the Weinstein stuff that just happened. It's funny how all these guys come out right before their victims do, right? Or right at the same time. Then they're sorry. Then they realize that it was wrong. And it's I'm calling bullshit. It's just certain people are just that way, and I don't. There's no excuse for this. No excuse for this, flat out.
Yeah, I think he was doing it as a damage control thing to make it like he was still innocent. It was clear as day, and then the lady just posted the DMs anyway, which props to her. Personally, always thought there was something weird with Adam. Like, I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like watching his content, and half the time I couldn't decide whether I liked the guy or hated the guy with a fucking passion. So it's like, there was always a love-hate relationship. I loved everyone else in What Culture and still do, and I love everyone else on the Cultaholics team. There was something off with him, And now it turns out, well, not only is he a dick to pretty much every other wrestling fucking YouTuber on the site, but he's also a fucking misogynistic asshole prick, much like one guy that was on my show at one point. So it was just like, dude, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, in a synopsis right now with Wrestlepie, Adam Blampied, whatever you want to call him, he went from being a cancer to the pro wrestling business. Like now he's the goddamn Black Plague. Like, and this is a little spat I
Right?
got with on Colin on Twitter. I think he's done, and he said I, and I don't think in his eyes, in his mind, he's done. But for someone to bring him back now after all these women came out for one, this outpouring, this letter from him claiming it was an ego boost, which by the way, fuck you, because every human being is guilty of doing something for an ego boost at the end of the day. 90% of the time, right? This isn't an ego boost. This is a totally different thing he did. That's called a cliche in the fucking letter. This was a big fucking cliche, the whole letter.
Yeah, legit. I
Um,
agree with that. And here's the thing, it's not an ego boost. It's you were fucking horny. You wanted a goddamn DM picked of someone nude. I don't know if they're underage or not, but the bottom line is you got a freaking DM pick. And it was fucking Ron. Period. This has nothing to do with ego, dude. You
it's not
fucked up
even.
here.
And see the when I first read it, I saw the story. I assumed it was one girl. He lied about to his girlfriend. He told the unsaid woman that it was fine or whatever. They were in an
Yep.
unmonogamous relationship. Blah blah blah. No, and that's obviously not what happened. That I just man, it. I'm honestly, I'm still speechless over it. I think we are all because it's just a couple hours ago, right? And so we're all just
Yeah, it
we're
happened a couple of
processing
hours
this.
ago. Yeah, everything is coming out. I'm sure more shit's coming out about him. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I think he was doing this with the Posh Likes Wrestling days. I think he's always done this. So it's not a thing. And by the way, here's the fucking thing. You want to get fucking horny and you want to talk to actual people that probably are going to act like robots anyway? This is what you fucking do. You don't fucking DM people on Twitter. It's called go on a fucking sex chat room. Idiot.
I mean, I'll do you one better. Instead of
Go on
stalking
fucking
women or
Pornhub.
forcing yourself upon them, it's 2017. Porn! There's porn everywhere. Go on a
Yeah, that's
Twitter
what I was just
timeline.
saying.
You
Go
can
to
come on
porn.
your timeline. Tentacle porn, hentai, anything. There is so much porn. You know what I'm saying? It's Jesus Christ. And for this guy, the white knighting, let's get to that also. One of the biggest things about him, all the white knighting on social media and all the social commentary bullshit with this guy. Tried and
Mm-hmm.
true. Another one bites the dust. Another one's true colors, come out at the end of the day. It's like it writes itself at this point, James.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's like he was a dickhead. Like he always was a dickhead. Here's the thing, and like people want to say like, oh Adam was 10 times better than WWE, and I'm like, yeah, anyone could be better 10 times than WWE because the writing sucks anyway for the most part, except for recently. Here's the difference though. Other people wouldn't do this type of shit where he's DMing fucking girls that are fucking way younger than him. He's a
Ugh.
fucking cunt. Period.
I do remember what I was going to say earlier when I was just drew a blank about people collabing with him in the future. I mean, I don't know if you saw the tweet from Matthew about Mania today, right? Where he was like, "He's still my friend, but right now I just kind of think he's a piece of shit." I just,
Exactly. And
I really think the
Adam
only
Pacitti saying the
gigs.
same thing. Adam Pacitti said the same thing. His best friend for I don't know how long.
Yeah,
He said
yeah.
the same thing.
People, shout out to Ian at Pixel Sickle from Pat the NES Punk talking to him on Twitter today. He was saying, well, and he's got a goddamn good point, saying, well, we're in the era of white men getting away with murder and coming back like nothing happened, and who can blame him? That's always kind of been the era. But I just think with this, for one, the YouTube community, a lot of your buzz and stuff is collabs and shit rolls downhill,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I really doubt Brian Zane will do anything with him in the future. Like,
Oh hell no. He I think he's already I give it like about like 48 hours before he makes a statement on Twitter saying he's never gonna collab with him again. If make a statement at all and just not even mention him ever again.
I mean,
I'll tell you right now, this YouTubecon thing that they did with Brian Zane, he ain't being a part of that this year.
oh no, he's on no more All Stars mount up. Well, let's go do it sessions. You know what I mean? I just watched one of those
Exactly.
last night with Brian Zane. It was the tag team review with the guys from Going in Raw on that podcast. It was tremendous.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out
I
to Brian
love that.
Zane. Oh,
Yeah, I love
I
it.
really think the only gigs, like, we called him what earlier? Like, he was like McDonald's apple pie, not Wrestlepie. That's his worth now. He's only going to get gigs on podcasts that are
I called
that
him
desperate
food
to do
stamps pie.
anything.
It started with food stamps pie.
Right. I mean,
It's a
if he
good
does
best way
come
to
back on a
pronounce it. Look
smaller,
for
a way smaller platform and audience at this point, because those are the only shows that are probably going to pick him up or do anything with him.
what
With that,
cultaholics fans or what culture fans? They're gonna find this out and they're gonna know that he did this, and they're probably already unsubscribing. In fact, I'll look while you're talking about this. I'll see if I can find a live stream of the cultaholics subscriber count.
yeah. Do you think if he did join one of those like us, like we would never do like take him as one, but a smaller podcast like us, do you think that would generate enough buzz for his comeback to like benefit him? Because that's the sick nature of the beast sometimes, unfortunately.
Yes,
Do you think
but
a session in therapy and a bunch of apologies would be enough at the end of the day?
it depends. I mean, put it this way, right? He's not he's not a Shawn Michaels territory, at least not yet. Um, so like he still has a lot of friends somehow. He still has a lot of people that give a shit about him. So he probably, I mean, either two things are going to happen. Either he'll change without being forced to change because he has to, because he was a dickhead to everybody, and or he'll not change because people continue to just let the behavior go on, and he's probably gonna just keep doing the same fucking dumbass mistakes that he's been doing. Either way, um, I don't know if he'll grow. I mean, here's the thing. It's gonna be like a Keemstar thing, and I say that like Keemstar didn't do anything wrong in that case, but he got accused of a lot of serious shit. Adam actually did a lot of serious shit, so I think it's gonna take a lot longer for him to gain any relevancy on YouTube again, if at all, ever again.
And you could even drift that cloud still on the wrestling topic. Hulk Hogan, who we heard mentioned in a promo this week on Raw. It seems like it's like smoke through a keyhole, right? With Hulk, it's slowly or somehow finding its way back in, and like little clips on like vignettes. You'll see a Hulk clip for a second, and then it'll go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But quite frankly, James, because shout out to our pals Tonka Salt, Broski, all these guys have a plethora of material, and I highly recommend you guys catching their take on this. I want to wash my hands of it because there's much more better things I'd like to talk about this week.
No problem. I don't blame you there. But before we get into that, I do want to say that uh, somehow, and I don't know how, but they're still gaining subscribers. The Cultaholics channel. I don't know how. I don't know how after all that
Well,
bullshit.
right now it's a car crash. That's the appeal of it. It's like, you know what I mean? And plus,
Yeah,
people
it's
trying to
only a
be too
matter of
cool for
time, dudes.
school, you know what I mean? And just hitting that subscribe to be rebellious. Who the fuck knows? But
Yeah,
I don't. This
I
isn't one of
mean,
those that are going to be swept under the rug, like you said. Like it's not like Keem. It's not accusatory. It's straight up. Now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Paul Abdul style in your face. There it is. He did it. He had, and people are going to
he even
say,
admitted to it.
at least he manned up to it. He admitted his mistake. Well, guess what? They still did it, and he. Jesus
He
Christ.
still did it. He still did it. Here's the thing: it's not like he admitted it before people said stuff. People were saying stuff. He announced why this happened, probably in tears because he realized I'm a fucking moron and people are going to hate me for the rest of my fucking life or look at me differently, a lot differently than they did. And people are fucking, people are already coming out with this shit. So and now it's what people already knew.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like it's not like you fucking. And by the way, they're not like losing any subscribers, but they're definitely stagnant now. Their growth has come to a fucking halt. For like the past minute I just talked about, they're still at like 123,797, and it hasn't even gone up or down. So they're definitely stagnant. Their growth is up to a halt, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to report on. So. I was curious about their sub count, if it was dropping or not. It's just really stagnant right now.
Well, that's that. Apparently, the pie nobody wanted to eat is still burning
No,
in the oven. Other
The
than that, I
Cultipie.
have not had you on a show or converse with you a lot since like this red alert over the weekend with WWE talent. First of all, shout out to AJ
Oh
Styles right
yeah.
now. True company, man. He's been everywhere this past week, and he's still going, showing no signs of stopping. But yeah, Roman, the mumps, it came out. The mumps. We saw it was a hockey team like last
Yeah.
year or something that had this.
Yeah. Um, where to even begin?
Yeah,
For those who don't know, Roman had the mumps. Roman ended up getting the mumps. I believe it started with either JoJo or Bo Dallas, and that's why Bo Dallas was gone for so long. JoJo ended up getting sick with the mumps as well. Then next thing you know, Bray Wyatt did. It was either the mumps or meningitis, which transferred into mumps. Then Roman ended up getting it, and at that point they went into complete panic mode, and they had to remove Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns from the TLC show, and replace him with AJ Styles and Kurt Angle in their places, like
yeah.
AJ in Bray's place and Kurt in Roman's place. Um, which overall I think came out with a much better result anyway, as far as a pay per view. But I do hope Roman gets well, because that sucks. No one should have to go through that. I will say that, as fucked up as this sounds, honestly could have been the best thing to happen to WWE, because now they have to change their plans, because I don't think Roman's coming back at WrestleMania. I don't even think he's got a shot in hell. If the mumps are as serious as they're reporting, I don't think he's coming back at WrestleMania. And if he does, he definitely won't be back in time to contend for any serious championship.
Yeah, it's
You know?
definitely serious, and you don't want to see that happen to anybody. Which I said last week, and on the post show on TLC this week, I mentioned that yeah,
Mm,
obviously this was for the better. I said the same thing. I don't want that to sound malicious, but sometimes things happen. And for all the people that
it
want to come at
happened for a
WWE,
reason.
I think they did right by their fans. They advertised something they
Finally.
couldn't live up to, and they went above and beyond, in my opinion.
Yeah, they did. They first off, we talk about the Oscar and Emma match more than exceeded expectations. In my opinion, I thought it was a really good showing for Emma. I thought it
You
was a
and I
really
don't
good
do it
showing
much,
for
but I'm going
Oscar.
to have to disagree with you there. I thought it was good, but I didn't see it live when it was happening because I still at work. But Robbie Radford from Kayfabe Today podcast in our group chat was saying this is an amazing match. He was building up so much. Maybe that had something to do with it when I went in later.
I wouldn't go that far in saying it's amazing, but I thought it was a good showcase for both women. Um, I can
I
understand
thought it was
where
a good
people are
call
coming
not to
from, though.
have her squash Emma. I thought that was a good call
Yeah,
because then
that's
fans
what
are
I'm saying.
going to start expecting every Oscar match to be a squash.
That's why I liked it, because it wasn't a squash. I didn't want. I liked the idea that we're keeping this competitive nature, because that's exactly what it was in NXT. She wasn't this Goldberg type where she was just squashing everyone. She is a much more capable wrestler than that. That's why I like the way they're doing it.
Yeah, for
Um,
everybody that came out and said that, like go back and think, she never one time had a squash match. They were always competitive. Even with Dana Brooke in NXT, it was a competitive match for her debut, right?
yep.
Dana got a
Yeah,
few
I
little
thought.
shine in there, a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was Emma. Her first match in NXT was actually Emma, ironically.
One of the two.
But either
Yeah.
one, it was one of them. But yeah, she's a freaking machine, man. Still undefeated. Her first two matches in the main roster. I hope they keep that going. I hope she doesn't lose to Dana Brooke in a roll up. I'm still in fear of that. Um, but right now, really good the way they're booking her. I really enjoyed. The one thing I did enjoy is the cruiserweight match was kind of looking back on it, but I did like the fact that they featured more cruiserweights because of this. Because God, they needed it. Like,
I was,
holy shit, did they fucking need it? Like, the match was short, but at least they were having a competitive match, which is what we've been saying they need to been doing the whole time on like last time on Cruise Control when I was on. They needed to make them have competitive matches, and finally, like, even if it is a tag team match between two random teams, even though Gallagher and Kendrick isn't really a random team, it was still competitive.
Yeah, it was a
And
really good
that's what
match. For
we,
those that, and the unfortunate thing with that, James, the stink that 205 has on it at this point, a lot of fans don't even see that and try to give it a chance. They just take a piss,
oh yeah,
literally.
yeah. But I gave it a chance to reason because holy shit, they got heat. They got a babyface reaction when Rich Swann and Cedric came out. That crowd erupted. Wow,
I
holy
think I
shit.
think maybe we're approaching the 30 episode mark for Cruise Control, and I can literally sit here and tell you on every episode that I reviewed, flat out, that I've had to call it a Cedric Alexander match. He has crickets for his entrance on 205 because the whole burnout after SmackDown crowd. We get that. He always
Yeah,
has crickets, no reaction, but he always has that crowd invested by the end of every single match. And it's like a pattern I've had to say on my reviews for his matches. This was no different. This was a tremendous in-ring tag match for what it was, and I think if they were not coached for one, which they should be, if those guys backstage, those agents are doing their fucking job, they need to pull all four of those guys and say, look, you don't get this spot often, go out there and give them everything. Or those guys called it on the fly and said, look, we're going to give them everything because when do we get this chance? And that's exactly what they did. And I know they're in WWE, so these guys also work a style as, yeah, we're going to give them everything we can because they can't. There's still this pecking order, right, with how you work a match. If you fucking do a move that Randy Orton likes to do, you're going to hear about it. You know what I mean? It's like that in
yeah.
that company, unfortunately. But I totally agree with you. That match was really good, and the crowd was really into it.
I didn't even think that ironically enough, I didn't think the Enzo and Kalisto match was all that bad either. I didn't think it was better than the tag match. I didn't think it was better than a lot of the matches on the show, but I didn't hate it. In fact, I thought it was a much better Enzo Amore match than what you're used to seeing,
And I
which
know he's not
is,
here this week, guys. Shout out to Michael Gana. He totally agree with me on this. Enzo Amore needed to win that fucking belt back. And
yeah,
Kalisto is just not going to get it. I'm sorry.
it's not his fault. Here's the thing. I think if they put anyone in the spot, even if they're not good at promos like Kalisto is, um, if they give them competitive matches like with actual cruiserweights, you could do a lot with Kalisto as champion. But they weren't going to do that, so at that point you had to give the belt back to Enzo. Like, what else were you going to do with Kalisto as champion? I
I
mean,
think
so,
another
so
big
if you're right,
problem that nobody says enough with Kalisto is that, I mean, they've said enough about that horrible promo he gave on the fly at like the draft, right? You know what I
oh
mean?
my god,
But the thing is, that promo turned him into a human meme and a joke, and that's going to be really hard to recover a guy from that. And it's kind of his fault because that was a terrible fucking promo. It was
yeah, right.
awful. And I mean, he's really good in ring, and yes, he totally fits in division. I get it, and I think he fits good to stay there and to have like I don't. A lot of people question. I talked about it with Broski on a TLC review with him yesterday. He feels that the cruiserweight division should need a tag belt, and I kind of agree with him. A lot of people would say, well, they need a secondary title too. No, 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 no. NXT needs that. That's what you know what I mean.
I think what I'm a firm believer of this, and I actually have a layout on what I'm gonna do with the universe mode. Like we're gonna start a universe mode series on Hammer Prod's channel eventually. I'm not. I wouldn't. The details are still kind of skewed because we're just getting it started.
By
But
the way, batten down the
the
hatches, James. WWE 2K18 has been ordered and is en route to my house this week. So
there you go. But yeah, the way we're going to set it up is we're going to actually have the cruiserweights on SmackDown, and on top of the cruiserweight division, they actually get to interact with the heavyweight and mid card guys by being a part of a tag team division where they can go after the tag team titles and are not pigeonholed to one fucking division, which is the biggest problem, which we've always said that they're just pigeonholed in this division when they could do so much more, and it would actually gain the cruiserweight division a lot more momentum if they actually moved up to a different division.
yeah.
So, that's what we're gonna do, and we're moving it over to SmackDown just because.
A
I have
perfect
my reasons
example of
for
a
it.
guy back in the day of how to a cruiserweight guy had a book like that to mix him in with heavyweights and tags. That doesn't get to is Billy Kidman when he was in the flock. They did a really good job of
Yeah.
making him credible in there with heavyweights sometimes.
Not even just that. I mean, if you really think about it too, I mean, when you had Rey Mysterio try to crossbody the NWO, like one of the most iconic moments is when they invaded that the Disney park, or yeah, it was like I think it was either Disney Park. Yeah, I think it was in
MGM,
Disney.
MGM, I believe.
Oh, MGM. It was MGM before Impact was a
And
thing.
the surrounding
And
neighbors, remember, like on the documentaries, they called the police because they thought it was a shoot back then.
legitimately,
Crazy.
and because you saw craziness, like, and the most iconic moment was a cruiserweight, Rey Mysterio Jr., trying to crossbody Kevin Nash and fight Nash. And yeah, he ended up getting hurt, but it was like Ray was able to interact with these guys, and it elevated them to a degree because they got to interact in one of the hotter angles of the entire thing, which before they made it the way they made it, it was elevating everybody doing that.
Yeah, and you got
Not
to
just
admit, when you close
cruiserweights.
your eyes and you think about the NWO memories, that's one of the visuals that stands out, is him getting launched like a dart.
Yeah, like launched like a dart in the trailer, and
Yeah,
him
they
all
have
one of
the
the members.
capability. They have so many guys, right, that are cruiserweights now they could do that with. To like a guy like Braun is a perfect
Yeah,
guy to do that with. But their logic, you remember when Braun ran down and helped all the cruiserweights against, and now their logic is have him help cruiserweights. They're, of course they would do it backwards in 2017. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because everyone apparently hates Enzo, which, by the way, I don't even know how true that is anymore. Because like they work it in way too well with the story that I'm starting to wonder if they fed all this thing where, oh, everyone hates Enzo as a work now. Like that's how much of a work I think this is. I can't even believe that many people hate Enzo now. But regardless, it's whatever they think they can do to get heat is what they're going to do because that's what the WWE is good at. They're good at getting heat. So if you have a heel and a heel, they try to make a de facto babyface and a de facto heel. And most times they're probably going to chant for the asshole heel as opposed to less asshole heel because everything's so fucking ass backwards. But
WWE's
that's a
logic
whole.
in a nutshell is always going to be, especially with the old guard in there, they're too hard headed to let go of shit that got them over in the past. They have Vern Gagne syndrome. They're not transitioning with the times. I've talked about it with you on shows. I've talked about it with numerous people.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan like a lot of people are of that. Kenny Omega, go a million miles an hour, blah blah blah. PWG. PWG is fine, but sometimes I need a break. I need my wrestling to slow down a little bit. But if I'm booking, I'm smart enough to know right now that's the hottest thing in wrestling are Kenny Omega matches, and that's what I would build my company around. I don't have to like it.
yeah,
I like money, you know.
yeah, exactly. It's what they need to do. But that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah. Let's get
But
right into it, James. And it feels weird doing this without Michael here, but without further ado, it's time for this week's Raw review. Monday Night Raw this week, the night after TLC. Couple. We're not going to go down everything. A couple noteworthy things I want to talk about with you. The call right now with the triple threat match. And I'm not going in order, by the way, just whatever noteworthy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alicia Fox, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. The call to make Alicia Fox the captain of that. They Kurt Angle, by the way, started off the
Uh,
show with a
uh,
promo. Every title match is interbrand, so everybody gets the gist. Alicia Fox is the only member right now announced, but she is the captain. What are your thoughts on that booking in the match? I will say in the match, I like Alicia Fox when they let her be Alicia Fox. When you know what I mean, like she's capable of doing great shit on the fly. We saw it when she mocked Bailey directly behind her. I thought that was great. I like that.
I thought it was good, but at the same time, the reason why I'm dreading it is because we're gonna just get a lot of screaming. I don't like the screaming. It's not even heat inducing. It's just I want to turn off my
But see,
TV
if you noticed
screaming.
in this match, she didn't do hardly any screaming, and I think she may or may not have been coached to do that more. Like you got to be crazy, so fucking scream when you're out there, from Vince or somebody backstage. You know,
Oh my
who
god.
knows? But what do you think of the call?
Uh Interesting. It's different. It's not the same ladies that you usually think are leading the charge. I mean, maybe they wanted to go with Alicia Fox because she's been there longer, so she has the most experience. Um, but hey, I think it's gonna make things interesting for Survivor Series coming up.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
still
my
say the
thoughts
right
on it.
thing to do right now is put Asuka on the team, Soul Survivor. If you really want to start getting her over in
Yep.
an old school, classier type of way, build her from the ground up, there you go. And she cannot be in a match and eat the pin. Like, she could get counted out or DQ'd in the match. That's an easy way out, which they'll probably do if she's in the match, knowing them. But I would just
Yeah,
fucking
but they wouldn't
balls
do
to
it.
the wall.
I
She's a soul
wouldn't.
survivor.
Yeah, exactly. I think she should be one of the hottest women stars. I mean, they can't. I'll tell you right now, they cannot over saturate her character.
Nope.
Stick with what fucking works. Don't over compensate one part of their fucking character like it did with Bailey, which completely ruined her dead in the fucking water. Just make her what you're making her right now.
Please no vignettes of
Badass
her
that
in old
can have
Japan
competitive.
dressed up as a geisha or playing a video game. Or nothing stereotypical, please, WWE. I beg of you. I beg of you.
Please to God.
I don't. You know what? I
Just
don't think they will. I really do think, given the devil their due, I think they do know what they have with Asuka. I think they do know she's and I think they're smart enough with her and to not overexpose, not. They see it's not working with
yeah, but
Nakamura.
like how many people have we said that about? We said that with guys like we said that with guys like Owens. We said that with guys like fucking Balor. We said that with guys like Bobby Roode. We said that with guys like Shinsuke. Like, and somehow they make them like they take what worked in NXT and completely make it even worse off. Fucking, I'm gonna mute my phone for that. And it's just at this point, it's ridiculous. Like, what at this point you shouldn't even bring up anybody in NXT until like after 3 years, because otherwise they're going to be worse off. Because obviously, apparently, they don't know what they're working with after like a few months, even though it's working and getting massively over. Like, why is Bobby Roode a face? Why is Shinsuke the artist known as instead of the fucking King of Strong Style? Why is Finn Balor trying? Before he actually had this match with AJ Styles, becoming Darth fucking Pumpkin, fighting a fucking transvestite? The fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like, where did we deviate from point A to point Z? And where is the point B? We didn't even get there. You know what I mean? So it's just
It's to a point
fucking
now when like
stupid.
these guys have like a best of 3-set DVD come out. It's of their NXT years. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, big time.
Could you
Big time.
imagine? I mean,
Well, no. Here's the thing. They haven't even. If you notice, they haven't even come out with a DVD for their new guys, which is like one of the biggest selling points. Like not even 5 years ago. Look at this
Owens got
DVD. Check
one,
out
but
this
that
DVD.
may have
Check out
been
this
the
DVD.
only one. Finn Balor got a fucking 20-minute WWE 24 special. That was it. That's all he got. And that was about his
Yeah.
injury, because these guys are injured all the time. Let's be real. It's not like the old days. These guys take more risks. It's a higher impact style, so guys are out longer. That's just the nature of the beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
I don't mean to keep saying nature of the beast. I promise the listeners I will not say that again, because I hate that term. I don't know why. It's just an automatic thing with me sometimes. Excuse me. So,
But
the gist of it, though, going into this, the biggest thing coming out of Monday Night Raw this week, James, was this Under Siege with Steven Seagal. And you know what? I liked it. For some reason, it didn't. I don't feel like it translated with the live audience. They were kind of, they weren't fully there. I feel like with their pops and
I think they were very confused because they just saw AJ Styles wrestle, and then they see him come out with fucking Shane McMahon,
Yeah.
and like just beat everyone down, and like they see guys like Titus O'Neil and Xavier Woods like interacting, and they're like, why are they beating him up? They just stabbed them, and then they're attacking
Not
him.
to mention Chad Gable looking like the happiest man on earth to beat up his best friend for no fucking
That's
reason.
what I'm saying.
God.
That's what I was saying. Everyone completely skipped over that part. I thought I was the only one that caught that because I had to replay it because I didn't know who the guy
replayed it
was.
like 3 times. I'm like, did he just? And he did. He
I
totally
couldn't tell because I forgot like Jason Jordan has like these new tights now where he's not in the singlet.
He's
So I
all
couldn't
about
tell who
green
it
too.
was.
Lettuce, his tights. What the fuck is going on with Jesus? He's gonna have like Slimer from Ghostbusters on his new
He's gonna be
shirt
the
or
new
something.
he's gonna be the new CJ Parker. He's gonna be an environmental friendly Jason Jordan.
Oh, for fuck's!
That,
You just
that can
made
make
his
us
career
money,
worse than
man.
it already
He
is right
threw 50 cabbages of lettuce, never drew a dime.
now. Rest in peace,
But
Mike Graham. But yeah, man, this definitely caught people off guard. And like you said at the top of the show, the mumps and the meningitis, or whatever the fuck's going on with those guys, this is for the better. I think this would have happened, but I don't think this would have came off as balls to the wall. Like, I want to say rushed in a way, My biggest
Did
problem
you?
with this, James, and for the most part, I'm going to say I liked it. It was fine. My biggest problem with this, though, you take a big risk when you make your entire roster heels for no fucking reason. And
That's what I said.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to this later when we get to SmackDown. And this did leave a good cliffhanger, if anything, into SmackDown the next night. Everyone was excited to see what was going to happen. Raw's rebuttal
Well, you
was
know what? In reality, they are the heels anyway, because their champion's a fucking Roydy Magoo. So there you go. I mean, if there's no other fucking reason they need, there's your fucking reason. Yeah,
hashtag
they are the
Roy
heels in
McGee.
this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, fuck. I started thinking about Roy McGee and I lost
Or
my
no, you can call him, if you really want to get racist, you can call him Roydy the Poo. But,
Nobody diet. He has the best diet in the world. You can't compare.
yeah,
He will tell you about his diet for hours.
yeah, about his
May.
I
By the
don't
way,
believe it.
Mayhaw on
I'll
this
say this,
show.
until he's tested by the USADA, I'll believe it when I
I know
see
you
it.
don't want to talk about the man, but the funny Kurt botch of Mayhaw was tremendous. God bless Kurt Angle. But yeah, man, this of course the meme also of Natalia with the women on like accidentally grabbing Zack Ryder's cock. That I got a good laugh out of me this week. If you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you, James.
You have to send that to me. Apparently, Natalia wants a little woo woo woo, you know it, and her who she wants it.
Does Survivor Series just seem like a desperation pay-per-view every year at this point?
Here's the thing. I would say it's a desperation pay per view if they didn't start building the week or the night after TLC, where they just got done with an angle that you'd think they would continue, but they went right to the next thing and started with like a banger where they just had the entire SmackDown like because you didn't see it coming because like Shane's talking about how you know how they're tight and all that and they're how cool the guys are. Thank you for bringing AJ Styles to have the Shield fight and
Oh,
all
don't
this,
forget the line of the
only for
year,
it
by
to,
the way. Guys, go get him. Jesus Christ.
oh my god. He should have never said anything. He should have just pointed.
Yep.
Because I liked how he just came up, told Kurt Angle to look in his eyes and said, "Under siege," and then like he should have just stayed silent after that, and then he should have just pointed, and then the entire SmackDown Live locker room should have just went and saw it.
Yeah.
Never should have uttered the dad of the fucking year quote. Blue team, go get him. Fucking dude, stop while you're ahead. But the beatdown was fucking awesome. Visually, it looked like a fucking invasion. I mean, I'll tell you right now, this is better than the invasion in 2001 by like leaps and bounds.
Well,
It's better than any invasion angle that they've ever done. Even the original ECW logo, I thought looked kind of weak compared to this. Like this is actually well executed. Now it's only been week 1, but I'm liking what they're doing because like everyone was like, "Oh, why didn't they invade SmackDown? Why didn't they invade SmackDown?" Because Kurt Angle isn't Brock Lesnar and he thinks his strategy out in a war scenario, in real life and in character. Like this, he's trying to plot his next move. He's not trying to go willy nilly. Oh, let's invade SmackDown because they invaded us because they knew SmackDown was going to expect that. Right. So he was being smart. That's why I like this. They're not blowing their load early here. They fired a banger shot, and now they're waiting for the next shot to be fired, and they're taking their time with this storyline. That is something I like that WWE does not do often. That's why I like this. That's why I'm actually invested in this year's Survivor Series, ironically.
This is exactly how I do it, and it benefits another brand. Get some eyes on 205 Live. You just have a regular old show at 205, say a week or two, maybe the go-home week of Survivor Series. Yeah. Okay? Exactly, everything's going as planned. Let's say fucking Rich Swann and goddamn Drew Gulak are out there just having a match. All of a sudden, what do we see? We see the guys stop working and immediately break character and go backstage. We see the 205 Live guys and Raw guys beating up the SmackDown roster collectively because at heart, 205, they're Raw guys. And that gets eyes on 205 for a minute at least. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would make sense to do it that way, actually, and it would make all the sense in the world. I could see I could see a lot of scenarios where they could do this correctly. It's going to be interesting this year. Did you see the promo on SmackDown, by the way, the Under Siege promo? The video package of like everyone talking.
Yes, I did.
That's a really well done promo.
By the way,
Like,
is it just me? Did I not realize that Michael Cole's announcing on everything again? What happened?
Yeah, I didn't know. This is what happened, right? I know that Tom Phillips
Fucked a
is
few more
away
faces, eh?
for yes. Well, that's what everyone assumed he was doing. He said he was had to take care of business. I don't know what kind of business,
Is
but I
it too
assume
soon
it's
to
face
say
fucking
he pulled a blank?
face fucking business. What is it?
Is it too soon to say he pulled a blank?
Hey, maybe that's what he wanted to go do. He was gonna visit Blampied so they can do the face fucking together, but then Blampied got caught. Now he's probably on his way back.
Maybe they've been in cahoots and they have like a collab planned this whole time. I don't know. Anyway,
he's the only person on fucking Earth that will collab with him right now. I'll tell you that right
sure.
now.
Weinstein will collab with him. Fuck. Christ. Yeah, but I saw they showed all the guys with their Under Siege promos.
I loved it.
I'm already so sick of hearing fucking Under Siege. I know they're gonna overdo that word like they did like Women's Revolution and all those other things. Ugh.
Well, I don't know. Well, I'll give it a couple weeks. I think it's like a 1 week thing. Like, he didn't really say Under Siege when Shane first spoke and addressed the fans, and then the fans actually just naturally chanted Under Siege, and I'm like, all right, well, this seems to be getting over. All right, fine.
How tiresome was it, by the way? Like back in the day, like 04, to keep hearing ruthless aggression every 5 fucking seconds.
Ruthless aggression. Wow.
Other things on Monday Night Raw this week. Obviously, like you said at the start of the show, like we're all over the place in order. It doesn't matter. AJ Styles teaming with the Shield, which I totally agree too. And like they should have maybe just let AJ set out. I also didn't like that like Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler were fighting side by side as like besties.
Yeah. They should have done. I think they should have done the Shield and Finn Balor, to be honest with you, because he just beat AJ. Why would the loser team up with the Shield? You know what I mean? It just, booking wise, it makes no sense too from that logic.
And thank you for reminding me of another big one this week that I forgot about, the Finn Balor match, which we'll get to. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. The crowd was on fire for this match. It was definitely a house, a standing house for the crowd more so. It's just AJ just happened to be there, so fuck it. But yeah, they just expect to men in black their fans in the span of 3 hours, and AJ's like Darth Sith Lord, but at this point, who knows?
Yeah.
Finn Balor, the Demon, not here tonight, and let's get to that. I think it's fine to keep doing this Bruce Wayne Batman shit. It's just don't keep making the stretches as long as you got to keep him there, because until we saw him at SummerSlam, it was a long time. You know what I mean? Like before we saw the Demon again.
Yeah, not even just that. It was like, dude, like he comes out with the Demon, and it was I think thank God they had to have called an audible, because could you have imagined how ridiculous he would have looked in the Darth Pumpkin fucking demon paint that they were trying to have him use?
I did a stream the other day, and shout out to Megan Starr, and shout out to anyone right now, by the way, who's in the live chat. I do not have it up, so unfortunately, I will
check it.
Yeah, James will hit that up and man the chat. Hope you guys are in there. But Megan, who was in the chat the other day, said knowing them, as soon as Wyatt's cleared, they'll probably go right back to the goddamn storyline, unfortunately. And I can see him doing it.
So you got Snarf in the chat, and Snarf said, "Oh man, I missed the beginning." Oh, okay, I caught up for the most part.
That is actually Snare X. Thank you, buddy, for stopping by. Playing Snarf for Halloween. He's changing all his handles on Twitter and YouTube, and he's a good lad.
Snarf says, using their fame to manipulate your fans. Not the first time a big YouTuber has done this. Oh, in reference to Adam Wrestlepie.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I never subbed to What Culture. YouTube has tried to force it down my throat. Wow. Them wild backstage parties spreading the disease. I think that was a reference to the fucking
For
invasion.
the mumps.
Yes, the mumps. The mumps are the SmackDown Live guys. They injected them with the mumps. That's why they had to change their plans
Back
on the
there,
fly.
fucking sharing needles through set. Or, I'm lost. Sorry.
No, maybe Dixie Carter gave them the mumps by sharing a fucking needle with
Just
everybody
in
in the
that, like,
locker room.
10-minute drive-by she did for WWE in that interview, it was enough to give everyone
The
the
fuck
mumps.
are you doing, Dixie? You already did it to Jeff Hardy once. He just got cleaned. Leave him alone.
Thank you again, James. Real quick, not on Raw. I meant to talk about this at the beginning of the show. God damn it, Jeff Jarrett let go. They're done. They have cut ties. Ooh, yeah, indeed. What? Jesus Christ, what is going on with Jeff Jarrett?
I don't even know.
He's
I
drunk.
don't even know.
That's what's going on.
He was
basically.
drunk, apparently. They're saying he was drunk, and then because his business, right when his business relationship terminated, Jarrett talked a lot of shit about how Anthem's apparently hemorrhaging money and they won't last much longer, which I wouldn't doubt, but it's like
I totally believe that.
at the same time, it's like, dude, you kind of were part of the problem.
But at the same time, do you believe the town drunk when he rambles?
What, when he rambles?
When any town drunk rambles. Like, there's old Chucky, the town drunk, at the fucking 7-Eleven hanging out. He's going to tell you a story. You going to believe it? I'm not saying Jeff Jarrett's fucking homeless, guys, but I just...
No. Well, he might be. You never know. Maybe his wife's sick, that pissed off. Then maybe Karen Jarrett's pissed off that every wrestling company he's ever worked for has failed and not having none of his shit no more.
I don't know, man. I could never picture her as a gold digger. No way. Get out of here.
You kidding me?
Get out of town.
Yeah, get out of town. I mean, let's be real. I mean, why did you leave Kurt Angle? Because apparently Jeff Jarrett had more money. Too soon.
We were also graced with an Elias Jason Jordan match again this week.
Well,
I sure know how to kill a fucking show.
This one was not as good. Elias breaks a guitar better than Jeff Jarrett, at least.
He breaks it better than Honky Tonk Man, even. This was a nasty chair shot, guitar shot.
It was a nasty guitar shot. I really liked it. And he didn't even hit him in the head. The funny thing about it is, if they just kept it as skits, I wouldn't really mind this feud. Like, when Jason came out and just started chucking lettuce at Elias, I was pissing myself laughing. It was fucking hysterical. Like, because only in wrestling can somebody try to play a concert and they get cabins thrown at him. Like, just Jordan with like a shit-eating grin, just
and him be the good guy at that. Only in wrestling, yeah.
I mean, and everyone liked it. Like, he was like, and the funny thing is, he was initially cheered for it, right? And then he just cuts him out with his music, and then they have a match, and then immediately he is not over again. Like, yeah. Wow.
I said the same thing. I was like, and then they had to work.
Just have them as skits. It's fine with skits. I'm fine with the skits. I want to see an Elias Samson, or his name's Elias now. Elias and Jason Jordan Team Hell No build-up where they just fucking hate each other and do all these fucking pranks and do all this bullshit towards each other and then have to pair up as a team. That's like what I want to see.
MVP and Matt Hardy back in the day. In a way.
Yes, indeed.
And you know how you are with gender. That's kind of how I am with the whole Jason Jordan son storyline. I'm so burnt out on venting about what they've done to his career right now.
Yeah,
my only thing that I'm a broken record. I'll say, because you're on and I haven't said it to you. I just feel like now they can't undo what they've done. You can't go back without playing it out now with the father-son shit. The best way to do this, and fans are going to hate it at first, trust me, have him win the Intercontinental title off The Miz. Hear me out, James. Have him do it. The fans are going to hate the match. They're going to bitch. Have a congratulatory thing with him and his dad or backstage the next night on Raw. Then he attacks Kurt for no reason. Everyone's shocked and said he was never his son the whole time. And he only used that to get a title shot, blah, blah, blah. The only way to redeem his career is turning heel, and they need to do it now.
You know what I think it should be? I would make him Booker T's son. Because you know what?
I don't know, Sawmill gonna like that, dog. It's gonna get good.
It's gonna be good. No, well, listen, right? So I thought about it logically and like, you know, Booker T for some reason, ever since this whole Sun angle has happened, has really taken the piss out of Kurt Angle.
It was so bad
Like
at
a
TLC.
lot. And he's supposed to be the baby face, right?
Booker T.
It would make sense
You would think
for
that Booker T
Jason.
viewed Jason Jordan as Adolf Hitler at TLC the way he wasn't. He literally said phrases like, "He never earned nothing in my eyes," stuff like that. And Corey
That's what I'm
Graves,
saying.
yeah, it was tremendous what Corey Graves had, like the Stevie Ray line and stuff like that. It was thank God for Corey Graves in that, because if it was just Cole and Booker, it would have been horrible.
Well, this is what I'm saying. What if this is leading up to Booker saying all this shit because he's actually the father of Jason Jordan and he reveals it and then Jason just beats the ever loving shit out of Angle? It would make a lot of sense, and at least you have a reason to hate Jason Jordan.
I actually
even
thought
more.
you were joking at first, but now that I'm hearing you
No.
out, I'm like, I can dig that. You make
It would work.
anything
That's
to
the
get
thing.
Book off the fucking commentary right now for me.
I'd make him a manager because he could be a fantastic mouthpiece for Jason. Like no question. That's how you can get him over, and he can learn under Booker T's wing too. Like you
But
want him
somehow
to
I
get
see
over,
them doing
pair him
that,
up with
and
Booker
he's
T,
feuding with
and
like
he'll.
Titus Worldwide guys like Apollo, and then you have like Titus as a manager, Booker, and I just see them doing that because they can't help themselves.
Oh, that would be fun. That would actually be kind of cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. Booker T joining Titus Worldwide.
Or like he was like the godfather behind it all along, Booker, and then it's like the new
It's
nation.
all up. Remember when he was in the main event Mafia and TNA tried to do like this fake fucking like African accent?
Man,
Look at these bums.
that is
If
literally
it
the
look
main
like
event
a
Mafia
chicken, it
TNA
talk like
shit
a
with that.
chicken. It is a chicken. What the fuck are you
So he did
doing?
like the Prince Nana shit. That gimmick.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. Like everyone was so confused. It's like the fuck.
There's another guy I'm surprised hasn't at least gotten some kind of tryout in NXT as Prince Nana, as long as he's been around.
Yeah, true.
Because I think, say what you want, Mouthpiece are a lost art, and I think I could see them making a comeback, and I'm totally down with the Booker thing now, and I think the word needs to be spread. Snarf in the chat, anyone, if you're hearing this, spread the love. Make Booker Jason Jordan's manager, dog. I actually did a Jason Jordan segment, and I came out of it with a good taste in my mouth this week, James. Thank you.
You're welcome. I gave you a good idea. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do, as Mark Henry would say.
Another thing I really like this week on Raw, Drew Gulak reading Lorenzo Amore.
That was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Enzo dances? Yes. Totally okay with this.
What did he say? Beta boom?
Beta boom. Realist champion in the room. How are you doing?
That was so good.
Fucking so stupid. It's great. What I love how much of a hypocrite Drew Gulak comes across though, because he teams up with a guy like Tony Nese who's a showboat, and yet he doesn't like showboating. And now he's teaming up with a guy like Enzo who actually does a high flying move off the top rope, which is like a middle rope DDT, and yet he says it's the no fly zone.
Yeah, it's their
you know what I mean?
Their convoluted, scrambling booking ever since Neville left, pretty much, because they were going in that direction of all of them hated Enzo, which everyone was all about, and now it's like the Zoe train. The fuck is this?
The Zoe train.
But if anything, we'll have one good moment from the Zoe train with just this Gulak segment.
The cruiser. You know what they should call it? It's the CWM, the Cruiserweight Mafia.
Jesus Christ. They come out like Reservoir Dogs or something.
They come out like fucking like The Soprano.
Yeah.
And they have like skits like Breezango's Fashion Files and just like have Soprano skits kind of fucking shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll definitely get to Reservoir Dogs here in a little bit, because that was tremendous too.
Yes.
Other than that, Monday Night Raw this week, James. I can't really, I'm trying to remember what else really noteworthy happened. I think that about wraps it up with the invasion and everything.
It was actually a pretty decent show. I wanted to watch it live, but I couldn't, so I had to watch it on YouTube later. But I enjoyed it. I hadn't watched a full episode in Raw in years, up until after TLC.
Yeah. It was one of the best Raws of the year, flat out.
Yeah, legit.
And it totally won the war this week between the two shows, because SmackDown wasn't nearly as good.
Yeah, for reasons. I blame gender. Or I'm sorry, I can't say his name. I blame Roy to the poo.
Well, let's get
Blame
right
him.
into this week's SmackDown review. And, everyone is awaiting a rebuttal, a reply. Why, Shane, why? Pretty much saying, like you said, old wartime strategy, strike first, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. That was pretty much the gist of his explanation.
And
Everyone's hating
yeah,
each other again on SmackDown. The solidarity lasted for 24 hours. You know what I mean? So it was also
yeah, like
Sami Zayn, by the way, right now, I will flat out say it. I know a lot of people, they're not digging him as a heel. He's doing tremendous promo work, and this was a fine
he's
example. I really
great.
like this.
I think he's doing some of the best promo work of his entire
In
career
the entire
going heel.
company.
He's being a cocky heel. He's really good at it, actually. It's actually kind of surreal to see Sami Zayn do a good heel promo. Because you think Sami Zayn, you think this dude's a natural born babyface, and then he cuts this kind of fucking sleazy promo. It's like, the fuck? When did this Uber taxi driver turn into a fucking douchebag?
When does the singer from fucking Less Than Jake be a dick?
I don't know. Why did I attack Matt Morgan last week? Why the sunrise? Why does the moon go down at night?
I did like the line he got in about, finishing the job on Shane, but not tonight. And Shane, he did have for what it was worth, a nice intense look back. Like that was good tension to build, and I think they did it well. It was also announced, that Sami Zayn would be placed in a match against a mystery opponent. Didn't take long to find out who was Randy fucking Orton. And that was the match announced for later on. Let's get right into that match. The match was fine. It was actually a pretty damn good match. One of the best Orton matches I've seen in a long time for sure. Credit to Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens ran down. He's back and he went out on Twitter this week. His wife went out on Twitter. I have no clue. It's undisclosed, whatever the family thing. But if it's cleared up, good to hear. I'm glad he's not having the mumps. He was fine. But he came back, and I thought they were going to pull the trigger for a second. I thought it would have made sense. And I feel like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are still going to be on that team. But Orton got the win here. And at first, I was salty on it. But I mean, if you're going to,
you know what I think is
visually in the lineup on the graphic, it's gonna make them not look so lopsided, I guess. Orton's a good hand to have. It's 5 guys, so there'll be 4 more guys. I'm not gonna bitch too much. But what did you think of this, James?
I thought it was good. I think it's building to something greater where, like, because this is a Raw and SmackDown thing only, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a crazy I think there's going to be a crazy swerve. I think what they're going to do, if this is, I'll do what Logan does on his show, a bold prediction, but this is what I would do.
They're going to say be a
hopefully.
Dick.
No, I'm not going to be. Well, I'm already a dick, but I'm just a certain level of dickery. But
shout out to Logan.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to Logan. We're sad you're not here, buddy.
We are. Wish you didn't fall asleep.
But what I think they'll do is they'll actually have Daniel Bryan go red coat, join Raw. I think he's going to leave SmackDown.
I think so
this
disgusted of how Shane handled business.
Yes. What I think is going to happen is before that happens, I think they're going to kidnap Bryan. That's what's going to influence his decision. But I think before that, I think what's the ultimate turning point for Shane to let Owens and Zayn on his team is that Owens and Zayn are the ones that are going to be saving him because they're not expecting those two to show up because they think Shane hates him. So they're not, and they hate him, so they're not going to help him.
Look at that. Look at that fucking Russo book. I'll be the Ed Ferrari of Russo, and I'll put the cherry on the sundae. You have Kane kidnap Daniel Bryan, too, since he's the unstoppable force currently.
Well, actually, it kind of does. It does make a little sense because they were Team Hell No at one point.
Exactly.
And they never really finished their feud.
Fuck.
So,
Fuck. Speaking of Kane, real quick, one more thing. Kane, Finn Balor. A lot of people saying it was a squash for Finn Balor. Tuna Meltzer came out and flat out said it was a squash with Alvarez. Was it a squash? Borderline squash. But I will say this. Perception's reality. Just look at the guys. It took 3 goddamn good-looking chokeslams, by the way. The match was also good. It was competitive.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So
it wasn't
Dave Meltzer, sometimes, guys, he's not the be-all, end-all. He really isn't. This was not a squash match. And you know what?
Thank you.
I just said I
like
liked the Kane match of 2017. Mark it down, timestamp it. There you go. Boom. Let's get back to SmackDown.
Oh, thank you. For God, someone said Meltzer isn't the end all be all. I thought I was the only one that
Yeah,
said
him
that.
and his pancrase t-shirts and his fucking anyway. SmackDown, let's get back to it. You could take a breather for a second so I can get through this because I kind of have to. Because I'll kind of correlate the two segments. That's another thing from Raw we didn't talk about. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Well, Paul Heyman cut a promo on Jinder Mahal. Tremendous Paul Heyman promo. I know all of his are good, but this one was extra good because he literally said everything the fans think in this one, and it was great.
Agreed.
He buried Jinder Mahal flat out.
I just don't know who this Jinder Mahal guy is. Like, they keep mentioning him.
Oh,
But
I'm
I
sorry,
don't know who he
Mayhall.
is.
There you go. Now you know what I'm talking about. But
Oh,
of course, and I was kind of, believe it or not, I don't think I've ever said this in a long time, actually, with gender in the same sentence. I was curious to see what he was going to do in SmackDown, and what we got was one of the worst promos he's ever cut. They keep getting worse, and they're just this generic fucking tried and true horse shit, and it's just, what are they doing with this
I
man?
didn't know. I
I
didn't know
was
if Boo
on
went on the
board.
roids.
I was on board at the beginning of this. I gave taking a jobber and putting a fucking belt on him for no reason a chance because it was something different. Wrestling stagnating more now than any other time with their storylines because everything's been done. I gave it a chance, but they shit the bed flat out. And I think the Punjabi prison was the proverbial nail in the coffin, man. I think that just made people just so uninterested. And to even Nakamura couldn't save it after that, even with the buzz with him. And not to mention how they booked Nakamura, but that's another story for another day in itself. But yes, the rebuttal was bad. Calling Paul Heyman a used car salesman is generic as fuck, and that's literally the only trick he had up his sleeve. And that's all I got to say about it. We did see AJ Styles in a match with one of the Singh brothers, though. Can I grace you to talk about one of his cohorts and not the man himself, at least, James?
Yeah.
Because AJ Styles is in it, so there you go.
I mean, I don't know who the Rory Magoo is out there with them. I think that's their manager. Good work by the Singh guy.
I do know when this match was announced. Main event anyway.
Future WWE champion.
Hanging from the rafters, right?
Yes.
But
yes.
the match itself,
he'll be like Curtis
I
Axel,
honestly,
like the club
really...
will reunite. The club will reunite, and they'll just hang the Singh brothers like by their trousers, like they did what like Axel was with the Shield.
Oh God,
that's what will happen.
The club will reunite, and they will hold them like terrorists on those videos. With the hood. Yeah, let's move the train on from that. I don't like
the elite skits. They'll hold them like terrorists.
Oh, Jesus.
Bucks are like, where's the bomb?
I flat out, though, I'm not gonna lie, I'll call bullshit on myself. I didn't actually make time to watch this match. I don't know if it was good. So there you go. Coming clean.
It was a good showcase for AJ.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure he looked like God in this.
He did. He squashed this little twerp, as they say.
Anything noteworthy after the match, like building to those two with the title after Brock and Jinder?
No, AJ just looked like AJ, and I don't know about the other guy. The other guy just looked a little swollen. I don't know who this guy is, but he was really swollen. But yeah, cool on AJ. He looks cool. I just don't know who he's taking the title off of. I don't even know the title. I think the title went missing, so I don't know where the title actually went. But maybe they'll have a tournament and AJ will win and all is right with the world again. But as far as
what they should do to give it, sorry to cut you off real quick, to give it credibility again, this supposed King of the Ring tournament, make the winner also get a number one contender shot and have AJ win it.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe they'll fight an invisible guy. Sure, I'm fine with that.
Bacon makes his grand return.
Bacon makes yes.
Let's get to some goodness, James. Fashion dogs. Another man, they just keep knocking it out of the park. One of my favorite things in all of wrestling is Breezango, and I never thought I would have said that like a year and a half ago, ever.
It's fucking hilarious. I'll talk about this because I watched that whole segment in full. So essentially what happened was they did a whole little intro like as if it was like a NCIS thing, and the Ascension apparently are now a part of the Breezango team.
Well, it was based off of the movie Reservoir Dogs. They did the intro for that.
Yeah. So they're walking down, and then next thing you know, it shows a shot of Fandango and Tyler Breeze, and they're talking. And they talk about who wants to be Mr. Pink more. And then Fandango replies with, well, we're both Mr. Pink. I'm Tickle Me Pink. You're Hot Pink. And Breeze, being a complete man-child, says, but I want to be Tickle Me Pink. And he's like, you can't be Tickle Me Pink. And then next thing you know, they zoom out, and it's James fucking Ellsworth tied up in a fucking chair.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck is going on?
I always wonder how have you ever seen the movie Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
I always wonder for
I've
people
heard
that have never seen it, how this translates to them. Like, I've never seen, and we'll get to it at the end of this, Stranger Things is what I've never seen any of that. I'll come clean on that too. Come at me. But yeah, so next week, I don't know if it's going to be as human, but like, this was great with Ellsworth, like you said, playing off the cop from the movie tied up.
Oh, God, it's so funny. And then next thing you know, out come the Ascension. I shit you not. Fucking Tyler Breeze just go, whoa, wait, what the? What are you guys doing? Wasteland stuff. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
They're really going to get over
They come
this.
out.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God, absolutely. They come out, I kid you not, with a tub of water that said gas and a plastic fork and knife. And they said, what are you going to do with this guy right now? Oh, well, we're going to cut his head off, and then we're going to see if he talks then.
No, they said we're going to cut off his chin.
Oh, we're going to cut off his chin, right? And then it's just like, and then we'll see if he talked then about a briefcase or whatever. And then he's like, wait, you said a briefcase? And then he just, Ellsworth, I guess, is a dog now. I don't know why. He barks.
Carmela's slave or whatever he is.
I personally, okay, that's a whole another rant. I'll get to that after this. But yeah, they were doing this thing, and then like, is that all you're gonna do is bark all day? And then Fandango tries to, I don't even know. He was trying to get the tape back on his mouth, and then he's like, oh, he tried to bite me because he tried to bite him.
Yeah.
And then
like he literally is like the human dog now. That's his gimmick.
Yeah, and then Tyler Breeze says, all right, Ascension, do it your way. And then they were about to cut his chin off with a plastic fork and knife. Out comes Carmella and was looking for Ellsworth, I guess. And then they saw the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they basically pried it off the hands of Carmella and opened it to find James's underwear covered in shit stains.
Vince McMahon loves shit jokes so much.
However, this one was actually funny.
This was the only shit joke besides like the Spirit Squad getting shit dumped on him that was actually funny. And what made this funny, one of my favorite things in wrestling all year, just casually flipping the dirty undies on Dongo's shoulder. That was tremendous.
Oh my God.
You know how earlier you said you spit out your thing when you saw Kurt come out the Shield? That was my take on that. When he did that, I literally spit out my drink. It was so good.
Funny. And then they do this whole prelude to Stranger things. Of course, I love how the Ascension are smarter than they're supposed to be the savages of the group, and yet they're the ones that automatically figured out it's the Bludgeon Brothers, like right off the bat, that have been trashing their office, and it starts with 2 B's.
Yep.
The fuck? Like,
that's the beauty of it, that they know all along.
It's so funny. It's great. I love it. This is gonna get over. This is definitely gonna get the Ascension over. One problem I have, obviously, is the fact that Ellsworth is a fucking barking human dog. When the guy can actually manage. I know people don't like Ellsworth. Certain people don't like him. He was a jobber. He came in, he wrestled all these guys because they thought he was a fucking meme, and they made the meme come to life, and he almost won the title.
He's been on the Indies for years. A lot of people don't know that.
But it's like, but the guy can fucking talk. Why are we gonna make him bark like a dog when he could be a really good mouthpiece for Carmella?
Yeah.
Makes no fucking sense to me. And what the fuck's up with this onesie that fucking Carmella comes out with? Why? Because she's the dominatrix of this fucking weird ass fucking thing.
With her onesie, she's like a human baby or an adult baby now.
She comes out with a fucking latex human onesie. It's like, the fuck is this? Where the fuck did her fabulous, like, she came out in tank top and, like, yoga pants. Now she's wearing a fucking onesie? What
Yeah,
the
man,
fuck?
it's not a good look. And speaking of the ladies
No.
in SmackDown, Becky Lynch is now the captain of Team Ladies in SmackDown,
Team Ladies.
which we are graced with like 50 links from our buddy in our group chat, Rob, I believe.
Yes.
So thank you
Hello?
for linking us the most unexciting part of SmackDown this week, but we appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I have no feelings on this. It's nah. Whatever. I just thought Asuka should be the sole survivor. We talked about that earlier. Other than that, what noteworthy things on SmackDown for you this week?
For me, I think the noteworthy thing on SmackDown was the Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan interaction. And I think the one other noteworthy thing was the whole War Dogs thing. But other than that, I really don't know about anything else other than like Becky Lynch's. Other than the Under Siege promo, the promo package, there's really nothing else on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, real quick, we didn't talk about the tag team. The Usos and the Shield have been announced for Survivor Series. You know what? I don't like it. I know they can have a count out or whatever, but I think you back yourself in a corner. That's also
well. Here's the thing. I would agree with that if it was any other normal circumstance. I'm fine with it because they're having all the champions face off against each other anyway.
Baron Corbin and The Miz is going to be interesting. Very interesting. It's going to see how the fans are going to react.
Yeah. Well, obviously they're going to cheer for The Miz. Come on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come on.
We will see. That was SmackDown this week, and like we said, Raw wins the week. Much better show. It literally, and I don't say this a lot about Raw in this day and age. It kind of did fly by in a way, like you said. You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, big time. I liked it. I thought there was a lot more noteworthy stuff on the show than there was a lot of other shows that they've done in the past year alone. I think this is easily hands down the best show of the year. So there's always that.
It's most definitely up there. I do want to say real quick, all apologies again for me being irresponsible, not manning the chat, but due to tech issues, I don't want to have my internet to shit. But I appreciate anyone that stopped by, Snare X, anyone else. Much love, always appreciated. James.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Rad Zero is very mad that apparently you're not talking about Becky Lynch because he put Becky Lynch with 3 exclamation.
Rad Zero is in the chat. My God, what a great dude! Get over there, check his YouTube channel out. Rad Zero is tremendous. If you're into gaming and wrestling, like it's just like this with a little bit more class over there, actually. But yeah, okay, Becky Lynch. I don't hate her. They're just not. They're never going to do anything with her, I feel like she's always going to be kind of a bridesmaid, kind of how Lita would get a belt here and there, but there was never really this huge push with the machine behind Lita. Like, she was eye candy and she sold merch and she was good at what she did, but at the end of the day, she's always going to play second fiddle to somebody better, in my opinion. And I don't think the accent does her any favors. I don't mean to be a dick, but it really is hard to understand her sometimes, and that's no fault of hers, but to appeal to casuals sometimes, especially children, that's not a good look for a babyface.
Well, I mean, fair enough. I think she's could be a much better heel. From the promo she cut in that little video and the Siege promo, I'm like,
yes,
this is the best promo Becky Lynch has cut since she got to the main roster.
I agree. She definitely needs shaken up character-wise.
Well, I mean, how many heels do you really need, though? You know,
that's like,
there's that too. But I think they need to put their baby faces better. That's for damn sure. So maybe it's not the fact that she needs to go heel. Maybe the writers just need to come up with better material for her to say. But I think that
well, that's like 90% of the fucking roster too. So.
Oh yeah, let's be real. I mean, we just talked about like how the WWE is good at getting heat, but they don't know how to get a babyface over to save their fucking life. Roman Reigns is a prime example of that, and he's supposed to be the number one guy, and they can't get him over for shit because they don't know that the cookie cutter John Cena way doesn't work. But when you made him a Samoan fucking assassin, he was over. Gee, I wonder why. Because it was different.
You know what else has been different? This. And seriously, man, I want to thank you for coming on again this week. Much appreciated. Always a good time to have you on. James knows his shit. Get over there, check him out. But before that, where can they check you out once again, James, before we get out of here this week?
You guys can check me out on youtube.com /user/jhebertside95. That's JHEBERT side 95, all one word. I do custom theme works mostly. I also do some custom Titantron works, so make sure to check that out. You could also check the Pro Wrestling Roundtable podcast, the most fan interactive podcast, and all the YouTube layer right there on youtube.com on that same channel. You can also check out Weymouth Youth Wrestling, Weymouth Space Youth Wrestling. You could also check out the Aftershock Corner at youtube.com/user/wrestling fortune44. It's where I do another podcast where we review Raw, SmackDown, sometimes NXT, and other news in the world of professional wrestling.
Very good, man. Guys, get over there. Definitely check out all that stuff. And down the road, definitely have James back. Since he's not here, you can check out my regular co-host at Mike the Slam Pig on Twitter. Check out Logan from Cruise Control and Colin at UberTieGuy and at LoganMyers144. Check out the Reset Button with myself and Tannen. Check me out on Kayfabe Today podcast at first thing in the morning on YouTube with Broski and the lads. Get over there, hit subscribe, and check me out on Twitter at the HibickyTMD. Until next time, this has been Slam Pigs Podcast number 82. See you next week.